eyes of the victim, Jayme. I lie on the cold, hard floor under a stranger's double bed, and every breath I take sounds louder to me than deafening thunder. It has been 81 long, unbearable days since that terrifying October night when this man with a shotgun broke into my home in the city of Barron, Wisconsin. For 81 days I have lived in absolute, ringing silence, locked in this tiny wooden cabin in the deep, snow-covered woods of Gordon. When he goes to work, or when he has guests, he shoves me under the bed in his bedroom. He methodically surrounds me on all sides with heavy plastic containers, boxes of belongings, and metal dumbbells so that I cannot even move. He told me in an absolutely calm, everyday tone that if I make a single sound, if I try to escape, he will do to me the same thing he did to my parents. Through my sleep, I heard our dog break into an unnaturally loud, panicked bark, but I sleepily brushed it off, deciding that a raccoon had just gotten into the yard. I'm an ordinary 8th grader. I love to dance and do track and field. But now the sound of gunshots has split my life into a before and an after. Fear paralyzes my emaciated body, turning me into a weak, trembling shadow that exists only to hide, obey, and remain silent. My life has turned into an endless, repeating cycle of darkness under the bed, the smell of a stranger's house, and animal terror before his return. Are you sure that right now, behind the wall of your cozy home, someone doesn't need your help? Pay attention to the details, because monsters often live next door. But today, lying in this dusty, suffocating darkness, I suddenly feel something shifting inside me. Instead of the usual paralyzing numbness, an icy determination slowly but surely awakens inside me, pushing the fear away step by step. I hear the heavy front door slam. I hear the crunch of snow under the tires of his departing car. He has left, and I know I have only a few hours until his return. This is my only chance, and I am not going to wait any longer. My fingers, scraped raw, press against a heavy plastic container, and I begin to push it with a strength I never even suspected I had. Centimeter by centimeter, I push the barrier away, scratching my skin against the metal, and finally crawl out from under this cursed bed into the dim light of the room. On trembling legs, weakened from long immobility, I put on a stranger's oversized men's boots and rush to the front door. I run out into the freezing January air, sinking knee-deep into the deep snow, and I run, choking on the icy wind, running with all my might, until I see the saving figure of a person with a dog in the distance. I drive along the icy highway, calmly gripping the steering wheel with both hands, feeling absolutely omnipotent, the perfect predator who has fooled this entire stupid world. It all started on that very ordinary day when I was driving home from work and happened to see her, an ordinary 13-year-old girl getting onto a yellow school bus. In that very second, it was as if an invisible switch flipped in my head. I looked at her and knew she had to be mine, at any cost. From that moment on, this plan became my sole, manic obsession, pushing all other thoughts out of my head. I planned everything down to the smallest detail. I shaved the hair on my head and face so as not to leave a single hair or trace of DNA in their house. I stole license plates for my car, got a shotgun, and drove to their house twice, waiting for the perfect night to invade. They didn't even have time to understand what was happening when I kicked in the front door and cold-bloodedly eliminated the obstacle of her parents, taking my main priceless prize. My loaded shotgun and physical strength give me absolute divine power over this fragile wooden door and everyone hiding behind it. For all these long months, she sat under my bed, quiet, broken, and absolutely submissive to my will. I reveled in this boundless power, this total control over another person's life. I was absolutely certain that the police were too stupid to find me, and that this little terrified girl was too weak to ever try to escape from me. I watched the news about her search and laughed to myself, knowing that the most wanted girl in America was sleeping right beneath me. I am walking my dog on a freezing, ringing evening in the quiet, snow-covered neighborhood of Eau Claire Acres, wrapping myself in a warm scarf against the piercing January wind. In these woods in winter, you won't meet a soul, just snow, trees, and a silence that sometimes makes your ears pop. Suddenly, out of the white, cold haze, like a real restless ghost, an incredibly thin, disheveled girl in oversized men's boots walks towards me. She is shaking all over, whether from the unbearable cold or the horror she has experienced. Her eyes are dilated to the limit. I approach her, trying to warm her with my hands, and when she says her name in a quiet, broken voice, my legs literally give way. Jayme Closs. That name hasn't left the TV screens or the front pages of all national newspapers for almost 3 months. I remembered with horror how we spent weeks putting up her photos on every pole in town, while this monster calmly walked the same streets and looked at us. The whole country is looking for her. The FBI is working tirelessly, and most people have long considered her dead on that terrible night. As a former social worker, I instantly suppress my shock, pull myself together, and understand the main thing: every second counts. If she is here, it means her kidnapper could return at any minute, and we must hide immediately. I grab her icy, thin hand tightly, and we run as fast as we can to the nearest neighbor's house, pounding on their door to call the police and put an end to this nightmare once and for all.
Victim 13-year-old Jayme Closs survived. Her parents, James and Denise Closs, were murdered during the kidnapping. Criminal 21-year-old Jake Patterson. Date of the crime, October 15, 2018. Kidnapping, January 10, 2019. Escape. Location, kidnapped in Barron, held in a wooden cabin in Gordon, Wisconsin. Investigation details. Patterson held the girl under a bed for 88 days. She managed to move the barricades herself, escape from the cabin, and meet Jan Nutter, who called the police. Patterson was arrested the same day while carelessly driving down the highway looking for his escaped victim. Trial outcome. Jake Patterson fully admitted his guilt and was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 40 years in prison. The psychology of the criminal Jake Patterson is perfectly clear to any specialist. It is a predatory psychopathic obsession. It is multiplied by a dangerous illusion of absolute control and superiority over a helpless, terrified victim. He systematically and purposefully tried to instill in Jayme what is known as learned helplessness. This is a psychological state in which a victim, subjected to constant, prolonged terror and severe physical restrictions, breaks internally and stops even trying to escape. It was vital for the criminal to feel like God within the walls of his wretched wooden cabin, deciding when she eats, when she sleeps, and when she has the right to make a sound. But the true, stunning phenomenon of the Jayme Closs case is that her survival instinct and incredible, still inner strength prove more powerful than any manipulation. Despite severe psychological trauma, the loss of her closest people, and months of cruel sensory deprivation in total darkness under a bed, she did not break. She managed to keep a clear mind, she analyzed his schedule, she suppressed her panic, and she managed to wait for the single perfect moment for her saving escape. This is a stunning, inspiring proof that the human will to freedom cannot be permanently broken by fear, cruel isolation, or intimidation. This story is not a typical tale of a maniac. It is a story of the incredible, phenomenal triumph of the human spirit over absolute evil. When we create a miniature DIY room box in the shape of a forest cabin, we carefully work through every detail. We install tiny doors, seal the windows, and build thick wooden walls, turning this toy house into a closed, impregnable space. We decide what will happen inside this box, feeling like the creators of this little world. But no matter how strong, no matter how reliable this box may seem from the outside, it only takes one strong, willful movement from the inside to break through the cardboard walls, break out, and let the blinding light in. Jayme Kloss did not wait to be found by rescuers. She broke the walls of her prison herself, proving to the whole world that light always conquers the thickest darkness. This was the Victim Path Project. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new dark but instructive stories before bedtime. And if you watched this video to the very end, write the code word SNOW in the comments so I know you are here and walk this path with me. Take care of yourself and your loved ones.